Black Writers, After Hours. A formidable talent in the boxing ring and on the stage, it was a real pleasure chatting with young star Naomi Kalu. She describes her life as eventful and the source of her creative inspiration. I asked her how the unusual mix of music, boxing and lyrics came about.
So I started off with music when I was around 5-6 years old, playing the piano. Used to just hear sounds and then link them and figure it out.
Yeah.
And then started doing lessons and stuff. And then I picked up other instruments like ukulele and stuff and guitar on the way. And then I started boxing when I was around 14, so quite a few years later. But yeah, so I did a few bouts starting off. Then after COVID, entered the Nationals Championships. And
Wow.
yeah. And then also when I was younger, I used to write little songs and jingles with my dad or my mum and other people.
Yeah.
It was just something to do, and
Nice.
it was fun.
Yeah, nice.
The blood glare of the streetlights blind me as I drown by my window. The fires of tomorrow, strangers with memories pass by, each holding a story of their own. Don't believe in what you show.
But that's quite a big jump then with the boxing. You're saying that you started out when you were 14 and then all of a sudden you're in bouts. So what
Yeah.
was the journey with that then?
So I used to do a lot of sports growing up. So
Yeah.
I played netball. I played netball for Saddleworth, I think it was. And I played cricket for Greenfield and Lancashire. And I did a lot of other sports and things like that. And then my mum found a boxing club
Yeah.
near where I live in Oldham. And she brought me along one day and then just been there since.
Right. Okay. So it kind of clicked
Yeah.
with you as a
Yeah.
sport, as like an art form
Yeah.
even.
I've always been very active as a kid.
Yeah.
With loads of different instruments, loads of different sports
Nice.
and other stuff.
Yeah. So do you find that there's a rhythm in boxing, like a rhythm that you can almost relate to what you do in music?
Yeah, so when I'm boxing, or I think a lot of boxers will relate, boxing to music, you kind of, when you're shadow boxing or you're sparring, music can help a lot. Just finding that rhythm, again, you've got rhythm and timing that ties into that boxing, and then it helps you to relax as well.
Sure.
And yeah, I like listening to lots of different types of music when I'm boxing,
Okay.
like Tribe Called Quest or Nas, or drum beats, anything.
Okay, so before you're going into like
Yeah.
about, do you have like particular playlist or does it change every time?
It can change. It's a lot of time. It's whatever my coach puts on.
Okay,
Mr.
okay.
Eric Noy.
Yeah.
But we share similar music taste,
Nice.
so I'm usually pretty good with any music he puts on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool. So we've heard some of your music a bit earlier. So what was the inspiration behind Fires of Tomorrow?
so Fires of Tomorrow was one of the first songs I wrote by myself. I wrote it. Where did I write it? Can't quite remember where exactly I wrote it, but it was kind of significant.
Yeah.
But it was fun when I was writing it. The inspiration came from, I think, just life, really.
Yeah.
I was just, what thoughts were going through my head, just sat down, wrote them all out,
Yeah.
and then picked apart different lines, what I found interesting, what I didn't, they got scrapped.
Right. Okay. So you went through your
Yeah.
your editing process.
And
yeah.
then I just sat with my guitar and thought of a melody and stuff like that. Just kept going through it, kept going over it, seeing what I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I played it to my dad, and he's over there in the corner. And he was like, oh yeah, that's kind of good, that's kind of good. And then just progressed from there, really.
Nice. So is it usually the case the lyrics come first, or do you get the melody for, like, yeah, how does it work?
Sometimes I'll be literally walking in the street. Like this morning I was walking to the tram and I had a little tune in my head. So sometimes it's just as random as that.
Yeah.
And then I'll develop off that tune, add some rhythm, add some lyrics.
Okay.
Other times I'll hear someone say something, like a little phrase about, that sounds cool.
Okay.
Or I'll have a theme or something that I want to write. Depends.
Okay.
Sometimes
right,
I have, sometimes I'm listening to a specific artist at the time, so it could be like Tracy Chapman.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking, I want to write something like that. So I'm always expanding my style.
Yeah, you come at it from different angles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So what are you referring to then in that song when you're saying strangers with memories pass by, each holding a story of their own?
So again, like I said, when I'm walking, you always see so many people walking by in the street, coming, going, doing their own little thing. And that's like one little snippet of what's actually going on. So, you know, they're all strangers to you. Well, you might know some people that are walking by, but in general, they're all strangers, but they've all had their own lives and stories up until that one little snippet of their lives that you've seen. So they're each holding, you know, memories of their own, could be with friends, experiences, and everyone's just going through life. Yeah,
everyone's got their story.
Yeah. There won't be a single boring person in the world. Yeah. Even if they think they're boring, it's not boring because there's something unique about everyone that you meet.
Yeah, that's so true. And yeah, we can forget that sometimes. But yeah, it's about appreciating everyone's story. Yeah. And you're also using like fire and water imagery in the lyrics. So what's the idea behind that?
So in the line, I think I had drowning by my window. So that's kind of, you know, you've got ups and downs of life. So the line drowned by my window is, you know, you could be you know, you start out your window crying and you can sometimes you can drown in your own thoughts. Yeah. Not just literally drowning in the water that's coming out of your eyes in tears, but you know, you can drown yourself in thoughts, and like you said, you can get quite overwhelmed. But then the next day you could have so much passion and fire tomorrow, and there's all this other stuff going on. Yeah. So, you know, not to get too, what's the word?
Like fixated.
Yeah. Not too fixated in that drowning and, you know, there's fire tomorrow. Yeah. Always think about that the next day.
Yeah, that's so important to keep in mind as well, because things can seem so, like you said, so intense in one way and then change. So
you have to acknowledge that is going to happen regardless as well. Yeah. Because I think a lot of the time when people think about good mental health and stuff, you might see quite a few stories or books and stuff like that. Sometimes a lot of time they miss the part of like you have to accept that these things do also happen and it's a part of life.
Exactly. It's not just all like sunny days. Yeah. That's an important message. Yeah.
It's been a little while. It's been a while since I feel like I've been living. It's been a little while. It's been a while since I feel like I've been living. I need a little time. I need a little space. I counting my shoes, I counting my crimes, but I just can't bear to see your face. It's been a little while. It's been a while.
So what particular box of misery did you open to write It's Been a Little While?
So in a little while, it's been a little while, it's gone. I think it's kind of about relations with, again, people you meet in life and how you handle them. There's so many, throughout my songs, there's so many different kinds of stories. Some are happy, some are sad. Some are just personal to myself. And, you know, you're kind of hanging on to that person still, but you kind of need to let them go.
Yeah.
But in another song, like I've written called If I Could Only Persuade You, there's a line that says, you're bad for me, but sometimes bad is all that I desire.
Right,
So,
yeah.
you know, you still you're still drawn to that person or that experience they could be giving you. You know, that could be exciting, but what they're doing, but it could also be damaging to you at the same time.
Sure.
So again, if you want to link back to In the Fires of Tomorrow, you have, you know, drowning by your window, like you were saying. Don't get yourself too worked up and overwhelmed in all these different kind of experiences.
Yeah.
Before it affects you. But life's very complicated.
yeah, but it's like having that perspective, isn't it? And
so
like,
it's all about perspective. Yeah. So I guess I just write about different perspectives. And because I've been writing for quite a long time as well, I've found new ways of expressing my perspective. And I've also developed different perspectives growing older.
Yeah.
So I'm 19 now, but I started when I was like really little.
Right, yeah, and you've still got like many years ahead of you to explore so many other perspectives. That's exciting.
I remember I had an argument with my mum once, and I wrote a song while she was trying to call off. I was just young, it was about something stupid. Yeah. And I wrote a song just saying, what did I do, what did I say? I didn't mean to hurt you. You know, so it's my perspective of what had gone on. We made up after anyway, but you know, we got a song out of it. But you know, you don't usually hear those kinds of perspectives.
Yeah, and it's like, it sounds like it's like a form of like processing as well. Yeah. You know, like you've been in like the heat of the moment. Yeah. And then you can step away and like actually process your perspective. Yeah. Because
as you're writing, you have to think about how is this going to hear, how is this going to be received. Yeah. It's like if you text someone, you could say, okay. But okay could mean so many different things. You know, did you do okay? Or did you do okay, you know, there's so many,
with a full stop.
Or just a K. A K with a full stop, you're in trouble. You know, so there's so many different ways to interpret and get your words across, if that's the right way. So you just learn about that as well.
And I suppose you must kind of pick up on that as well through all the artists that you listen to, and like the nuances they're able to like draw out in their lyrics and their styles. So
sort of like some people are more metaphoric. Some people are like direct.
Quite literal.
Like there's a song I listened to the other day, and it said, "You've nicked my Shrek DVD." Like the film Shrek. So it's like, you know,
film.
Could be directly asking for that DVD back in his new song. So it's, you know, it depends on what angle you take.
Okay.
There's so many different ones.
Cool. So would you say you're comfortable being called an artist, a creative, a musician, a boxer? Which like sort of title do you most relate to?
I guess you could call me whatever you want, really. It depends on what context you put me in, but you know, I feel like people are always trying to fit themselves into a box. That sounds really cliche, what I'm saying.
But it's true.
It's very true. That's why it's cliche. That's why a lot of people use it. But you know, I don't think you should put yourself within certain expectations or label yourself. Well, me personally, I like to label myself as something specific. But you know, I create things. It's like if you look at boxing, from my perspective, boxing is just like chess, and it's kind of an art form in itself, the same way that you might see dance. So again, there's so much footwork and movement, and that's transfers directly to dance. You know, you have
definitely.
I can't remember which boxer, but I think it was Lomachenko or a boxer like that. His father had him dancing for years, just to learn the footwork. So it's just, you know, there's so many crosses over into things in life.
Great, so for your current project, I know that you're working with other musicians, so how do you find that, like collaborating? What are the joys, what are the difficulties?
Sometimes you don't agree on things. You know, sometimes you do agree on things. And then some days you're really tired. Just not just physically, but you could be mentally tired. So you might not have much, you know, like when you get writer's block. You can get the same thing when you're playing music. You know, or if you have a tough day at boxing, you just can't get a drill right. So, you know, it's about learning how to work with other people while accepting that they're also having those struggles at the same time.
Yeah.
So one of the main things that are important when collaborating with other people is thinking about how they're thinking that day in time.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's the same every day.
Yeah.
But it's very fun because you see so many different ways that people think and express what they're meaning, and you'll hear different touches of their style. I think everyone has their own style.
Yeah.
And even the way they talk, you know, everyone has their own style in whatever they do.
Yeah.
You can look at something and be like, yeah, that reminds me of this person. It's always a different person. So working with so many different people, I'm just bombarded with styles and brilliant creative people, and they can contribute to my style.
Yeah.
And then I learn more stories.
Nice.
More
So you
songs.
feel like able to absorb that.
Yeah.
Like you don't find it's like sort of conflicting with what you're doing. You find actually it fuels what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That's really cool.
So yeah.
Amazing. So you've had a go and you've like excelled at so many different things creatively, and you're like you said, you're self-taught for a lot of these things. Where does the bravery come from? Because a lot of people, they'd be quite cautious, you know, about stepping into new arenas.
I think boxing helps a bit with that.
Yeah.
As you, no pun intended, stepping into new arenas.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But, you know, you just got to go for it. I think really fast, and there's a lot of things going through my mind 24/7. So I think I've just done so many things because I've let those thoughts just happen. Like I'm like, I'm a bit interested in this.
Okay.
I'll just do it.
You don't inhibit yourself, basically.
Yeah,
You don't
because
question too much.
if I kind of, you know, it's good to question things though, but sometimes you've got to let yourself free a bit and just see what happens. That's like really scary sometimes, but it helps because then you're not thinking, what if this happened?
Yeah.
And what if that happened?
Because you don't know, do you?
Yeah, you don't know.
So you're trying to
So you
control
just-
something you don't know.
And then just do it to your best ability.
Yeah.
Because I'm still young. I'm still 19.
Yeah. I'm very young.
I said that when I was like 15, and I was like, that sounds a bit older now. But you know, you always get people like, oh, you're really young, and they could be years old, and you think you're quite old, but you're not.
Yeah.
It's like me and my father made the Bluebird song when I was 15, and I think, oh, I'm a bit old here. And then looking back, I was 15. So, you know, just fill your time with things that you enjoy and just creating new things and just doing everything before it's too late. Not to be a bit morbid, but I mean, you can start boxing at 60 years old if you want, you know.
Yeah.
To start playing chess at 80. Just do it.
But it's nice, like when you feel the impulse, like just do it. Like don't wait.
It's your story, so
yeah.
You write it.
Yeah, I love that. So, I mean, maybe you don't know this, but like, what's the future hold?
The future holds amazing things. It holds ups and downs, lefts and rights, forwards and backwards, everything. But I think I've got a few things coming up with the studio I've been working with at the moment in Ancoats.
Yeah.
Which I think it's Impact Sound Media. And then I've got a few things coming up with the Sheba Arts organisation as well.
Can you give us like little tasters of what those things are? Are they top secret?
I'm going to be getting a performance. We're planning next year for that, possibly at Band on the Wall or other locations, but we'll see where that is. And I'll be performing at Sheba Arts Festival again, as I've been. And then, just releasing new songs, vibing, thriving.
Which you definitely are.
Yeah. And then hopefully a boxing match or two as well. Just seeing how it goes. Not to get myself too overwhelmed, because I struggle with anxiety as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. So I have to keep a watch on.
Like
keep a balance.
Yeah.
A balance on.
Yeah.
Just doing everything and then stepping back and seeing. Because it's hard sometimes as well to recognise when you're overwhelmed. It might be later on you'll be like really stressed and you're like, you don't know why. But then when you step back and see which things stressed you out, you might need to take a break from those things for a bit.
Yeah.
And then go back into it.
Yeah.
Maybe with a different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, it's learning from experience,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because you don't know what's going to give you energy or take away. Yeah.
So have as much experience as you can early on.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do later on.
Yeah.
Because every experience is gained knowledge.
Definitely. Yeah. Very wise. So yeah, thank you. It's been really interesting and nice to chat to you. And where can our listeners find you online?
So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and probably other platforms, but I can't remember which ones I'm on.
Okay.
But my Instagram is Thanks a Lot Naomi. The name comes from a meme of this girl. She goes, "Thanks a lot, Rachel. You use my iPad charger for your..." So
Not seen that one.
Yeah, I'll show it you after. So it's just Thanks a Lot Naomi. It's easy to remember, all one word. Yeah, and then my Facebook is just Naomi Kalu, NaomiKalu. And then it's probably that and anything else. Just type my name up.
Okay, great.
And it will all be
Simple.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much. Great to speak to you.
No.
This episode's prompt is: listen to a favourite song and write about the feelings it stirs up. Is there a theme or story that pops up, or a particular place that emerges? What memory does it invoke? Use that as a starting point to write for 5 minutes. This is a Culture Word production. Thank you to our funders, The Space and Arts Council England. Recorded at Silver Lining Music Studio.